And large numbers travelling up from the West Country, of course, as ever. The support for Exeter, second to none. Big night for Matt Kvesic, a point to prove. Perhaps a point he was thinking he might not get to make this evening. Dave Dennis's absence allowing for him to be in the starting lineup. And Gloucester will prepare for their opening night. And they'll be led out tonight by Tom Savage, a big evening for him. 150th appearance for Gloucester. Key part of the engine room through the Gloucester Rugby Academy. In all but name, at least, the nursery that is Hartbury College. And he has his moment in the sun. All smiles from Johan Ackerman. He's the man charged with finding that elusive consistency. They were brilliant at times last season, Ben. There were some wonderful performances. They were too good for some of the very best. Saracens here sticks in the memory, La Rochelle away, but backing it up proved all too much.
And I think a lot of it in David Humphreys' mind was their inability to close out games where they got themselves into a really good position. So fitness is obviously a key of that. They will have worked very hard on that in the pre-season, but I'm sure the mentality comes into it as well, and Johan Ackerman would have brought a lot of that over from South Africa.
So Matthew Carley given the honour of the opening game of the Premiership season. Gareth Steenson has had a little bit of time to reflect on that glorious moment at Twickenham. But they need to reset now. The waiting is over, the slate is wiped clean. Fresh hope, fresh ambition, fresh ideas, and the first step on the way to Twickenham next May, taken right here at Kingsholm. And a brand new Aviva Premiership season is up and running. Willie Heights linking nicely with Rowan and away through the hands for Atkinson. Interesting to see Gloucester moving the ball in the first instance. That is the message from Johan Ackerman. Have a look first up, rather than simply put boot to ball.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see his record at the lines, plenty of carries from their guys, but the interesting stat is how many metres were they making off their carries. And Willie Hines, straight away, from the moment they feel as if they're not going anywhere, that's the control he can bring.
Experienced campaigner, of course, the New Zealander, and they'll be looking to him this evening. But first bit of possession here for Exeter. Whipped away by Nick White, driven on by Kvesic. Little burst here from Simmons, wearing number 8. Thomas Waldrum injured at the moment, but Simmons has been in fabulous form, we're told, in pre-season. Johnny Hill. Jeff Parling, of course, has made his way down to Australia now, so the lock pairing a little different to what it was. Yendall stopped in his tracks and stopped very well by Lewis Ludlow. White searching for spaces, bottled up nicely by Burns. Williams taken very early and very hard. Use it. Fraser Balmain putting his weight to good use. Again, it's Kvesic who has a welcoming party. Lots of phases here from the Chiefs, haven't gone too far.
See Gloucester not wanting to put anyone into that breakdown, hanging off, seeing if there's an opportunity to counter up late.
Move, thank you.
Hill to Kvesic, who is spiralling round and through some of the tackles and finding a little opening. White, Steenson, Atkins. Bodilli finding Witten. Now then, big fend on Hines, who will not be shaken off.
Just one of the things Hugo and I were talking about before the game was the quality of Nick White's pass, the speed of it. That means you can go right to the front, but he can still get the ball into midfield before the defence is up. Really useful as the line out forward. And the Chiefs will be really happy with the start of this man. Matt Kvesic, not known for his ball carrying. It's something Eddie Jones told him he had to improve on. That improvement got stifled last season by his lack of selection. But he started well tonight.
Richard Hibbard had such a brilliant season in the last campaign. Nice ball here for Gloucester, lovely handling from Atkinson, and this is Savage.
Right in the outside centre channel there, Savage.
Tackle now!
Birds, little dink over the top. Taken nicely by White, and the offload's a good one, and here's Bodilli, straightening. Chiefs looking to take their opportunities now. There is space on the wide outside if they can get it there. Dolman. Still Dolman. Gets it away beautifully. Simmons for Slade. And the inside ball. And here is Simmons! All power in the end from the number 8. But that is slick handling and ruthless finishing from a champion team.
Yeah, great start. The interplay. Spotting where the space is, starts with the first carry from Bodilli. Just opened up for him, loose-ish kick, little chip over the top, really well read. And then he goes exactly through the gap where the first tackler was. Look at all those red shirts that get attracted. Steenson calling for it wide. He knows that Slade's got out there. That spreads the defence. Creates really difficult decisions to be made out there. They get the shoulder, and then this interplay, the calmness, and then the leg drive to get them over the line. That's a quality finish. Wasn't easy by any means when it got out here. Took a lot of scoring, a lot of good decision making. A try of champions.
Well, it's a great start for Exeter. It's a great start for Sam Simmons. And here's Steenson. Full value for it from the boot of Gareth Steenson, the cultured boot, the legendary boot now. And Exeter lead Gloucester by 7 points to 0 after 5 minutes.
Thank you, Ben.
Great strength through the tackle from Dolman, and the link work, as you said, Ben, so calm, composed, wasn't it?
No rash white line fever. Knew they'd get over eventually, just biding their time, checking what the defenders were doing.
Here's Woodward. Rangy runner, likes to take on the defences, but that perhaps not the kindest of passes.
Be careful, not that obvious. Run back.
It was a lot of talk about Johan Ackerman and what he can bring slightly different in attack. We're used to seeing Gloucester go coast to coast, but we're definitely not used to seeing this kind of lineup. You've got John Afala on the wing, on the left wing. Of course, normally when you want to get to width and give one-on-ones, probably not looking at your loose head to exploit that space.
Well, they're not, but it's really bright, because when you come back, you're often left with your loose head, your tight head right on the wing, who aren't going to do much use. So they know they can waste a phase out wide, come back. They've got all their backs on their feet. Really bright.
First scrum of the night, so all eyes on the foe. We were going to look carefully at the feed, but we won't get the chance.
No need for a hook either.
So Gloucester penalised at scrum time. It's Arfoa who's had to switch sides to the loose head tonight in the absence of Valrapava Ruskin, who is suspended currently, and Paddy McAllister's injury. He's done it before, for New Zealand no less, for Ulster as well, but not in a long while.
Step off and I'll get them for you. Step off and I'll get them.
He's fallen foul of the Carley whistle,
Exeter, 5.
providing the Chiefs with excellent field position.
Exeter cutting to a six-man line out. Simmons in the scrum half position, ready to bind in on the ball if they're going to drive it, or pop out if Nick White's going to run off his shoulder on a peel move.
Yendall picking out Kovacic. Not the obvious target, far from it. But we have seen on countless occasions just how strong the Chiefs are in this kind of zone.
9, start using the ball. Ball is available, stay back.
It's there for Nick White, who's under pressure from Matthew Carley to use it, and he's lost his patience.
Nick White trying to tell the referee that he's got trapped in there. That doesn't matter, he still went in. Couldn't get the ball out from them all. Got his foot stuck. He tried to get down into that low passing position, and then Gloucester shunted his own players back over the top of him. He was trying to leave the ball protected under his legs.
Australian international making his Premiership debut tonight. Unlucky to miss out on World Cup selections a couple of years ago.
It's the position of Willie Hines now. He doesn't have to be dead central, but he does have to roll it in straight onto the hooker's foot. The hooker's foot has to come up. It's a mouthful to say, hooker's foot. There we go, we saw the strike, straight back to Ben Morgan's hands, and he's off and playing.
Morgan to Burns. And it's given a good thump by Purdy. Dolman.
Just wait, 9.
Burns again.
Onside.
Dolman anticipating nicely, as you say. Woodburn is there and now seeking spaces inside the 22 again.
You see this quite a lot from Exeter last year, especially. They're happy just to keep long because they want the ball in play a long time, and then they'll look for their moment to strike. So it looks like a bit of aimless kicking, a bit of ping pong. They've just been patient with the ball, waiting for a mistake like that.
Woodward hoping to catch out Dolman, no such luck, and again it's Kovacic on the ball. He's having a very busy night so far. White, who will challenge around the ruck, perhaps a little more than the other Exeter nines.
Tackle!
Driven on by Don Armand, man of the match, of course, in the Premiership final last May. Yendall with Atkins attached. White. Bodilli. Harry Williams, another who made a really good impression in his first international outing in Argentina in June. Steenson in heavy traffic. Kovacic wrestling with Hines. Simmons, the try scorer.
Not really going anywhere, but they've been confrontational with their carries, but Steenson decided not to waste any more energy. Pin Woodward back down into his own corner, make him kick back out, and suddenly there's a bit more grass if it stays on the field to attack into.
Kept in nicely by Max Bodilli. He's setting off after this, but Purdy is waiting for it. Now then, what might be possible on the outside here? This is Simmons. Andy Simmons with Burns alongside him. And it's gone loose, and Purdy can't take it cleanly.
There's a bit of kick tennis going on, but it's certainly not defensive kick tennis. Just waiting for an opportunity to open up both sides. Little mini break on the outside, just can't hold the offload off the floor. Expecting to go in and clear out, and the ball's thrown straight into his face.
Allow him immediate bind, okay? Allow him to bind immediately. Don't push on his shoulder, okay? I'm coming this way.
There's Andy Simmons, who's trying to make up for lost time. Signed from Worcester last season, but had a hard time getting onto the field due to injury.
Just slightly left. Thank you. Now stay still.
Good.
Thank you. Nice and balanced.
For Exeter, that success rate. Third in the league. Gloucester not quite as profitable, gave away a few penalties. Fraser Balmain, good scrummager. Combined with our thrower, who was brought back to Gloucester when they had the worst scrum in the league, to bolster a cause of all those penalties they were giving away that had them languishing near the drop.
Right in front of the shed. Steenson. Away through Dolman to Slade, and this is Woodward again. And that hasn't worked out the way he'd have liked it. Hasn't had a huge amount of game time, Jason Woodward, just recently. Pre-season has been something of a stuttering affair for him. due to one or two niggles. Johan Ackermann's first taste of the Friday night lights here at Kingsholm. Witten on the charge, one of those indispensable characters in the Gloucester squad. Steenson, Bodilli, Rowan in there with the tackle. Woodburn. Armand.
Tackle release.
Met well by Hibbard. Steenson. Hill on the short line. Bodilli.
Yellow line's where they started. They're getting knocked back. It's good defence from Gloucester. The Chiefs happy to keep the ball. We know that all last year they kept the ball more than anyone else.
Steenson changing the angle again. Witten brought in around the ruck. Yendel. Solid defensive work here from the Cherry and Whites.
That's Kovacic's 7th carry in 14 minutes. He's got a few points to prove that have been bottled up for about 6 months.
Slade for Armand, looking to free the arms up. He's managed it brilliantly. Witten is there. Dolman. Chiefs playing with the advantage here. Johnny Hill. Patience from the Chiefs. Woodburn now. Taken in by Atkins. This is Nick White. Willie Hines has stolen it, and back we come for the penalty.
It's a great steal from Willie Hines, and vital as the last line of defence. White wasn't going to get over anyway, but if that had been quick ball coming back on the Exeter side, you felt the dam would finally break.
But just on the point you're making earlier, Ben, what Exeter believe is, in terms of their game plan, is their fitness and their shape, and they're happy to go through the phase to stress the defence. Fair play to Gloucester, actually defended really well. However, they're going to have to do it again as Gareth Steenson just kicked to the corner.
No one block, no obstruction. Play the ball.
Familiar territory this for the champion club.
An area that has served them so well, particularly at the end of the season. Remember that last-minute kick where they can't win the ball.
It's been stolen by Jeremy Thrush.
Stay there now, stay there.
Vital steal from the former All Black. The kick wobbles its way into touch via a hand or two. Ugo.
Yeah, I was just looking at Gloucester's defence. Ben was talking about the new law amendments, especially at the ruck. Well, Gloucester actually aren't competing at the ruck. See Hibbard roll away, no one in that ruck at all. We roll it on. Once again, they're adopting exactly the same thing. Roll away, get on your feet. And they're defending so well through numbers, more so than competing at the ball.
You look at that last clip, it's primed for that person reaching back into the ruck that's already over the ball and just carrying straight on. There's no one there. We know the new laws say you can do it immediately.
Hibbard finding Savage.
Use it!
And Heinz fires it away. No Greg Ledler, of course, this season. He's headed off to France, so a little bit of extra pressure now on Willie Hines. Very much the senior 9 in the ranks. Couple of youngsters pushing through. Ben Velicott on the bench tonight.
Tell you what, 17 minutes into it, wow, 97% of the game in your half. First home game of the season, but we're only 7-0 down.
Exeter looking to put the squeeze on again. Yendel, the tail gunner.
This is so draining for those Gloucester forwards as well. Being told to use it though, Exeter.
And here it comes. Dolman back against the grain. Atkinson has ripped the ball, and chances now. Thorley whipping it away. Ludlow, Burns, Woodward. Lovely bit of work from Woodward, but the same trick won't work twice. Ball back in Exeter hands. Simmons White. Steenson, Witten, just seems to have a sixth sense for those softer shoulders, and a little bit of crossing there and obstruction, which allows for Gloucester to regain the ball.
Both sides trying to keep the ball in play. Another fantastic rip in defence from Gloucester, but the decision-making of this man under pressure. Here's the rip, comes in, excellent. But watch Willie Hines, he's under real pressure. Do I kick it? Have I got time to kick it? No, I'll hold and just draw that man. We've got numbers on the outside. And no one's going forward, but they're just taking out the defenders, creating that overlap on the outside, and Woodward the beneficiary.
They've got to keep their next play, whatever they do, simple. They've been starved of possession for the last 10 minutes or so. Hopefully they can get a platform. Scrum hasn't gone necessarily well for them, but they need to get themselves into game. As you said, Ben, they've been drained in defence. Opportunity to attack now.
Hines gets it away early. Burns, Simmons, Thorley taking on the defenders, a barrelling run, seeing off Slade, and the ball is still there for Gloucester. It's Woodward now. Hines burrowing, and Exeter winning the decision.
It's exactly what I was just saying. 2 phases later, and they give the ball up. That wasn't down to them trying to overcomplicate their moves, just the accuracy.
It's the left boot of Slade. Legendary, of course, down at Sandy Park after doing what he did in that semi-final against Saracens to give them the opportunity of that last vital score. But they're missing touch, and Gloucester back in possession. Rowan for Hibbard, who's rather isolated. Hines, Burns, Simmons taking on the defence. The ball smuggled to Ludlow. Balmain, then Moon up very quickly from Exeter. Burns again. Nice short line from Rowan. Burns. Atkinson goes to ground.
Complete different tactic at the breakdown. Exeter, it's funny, Gloucester lose Kovacic and no one competes. Exeter get him and they're all desperate to compete. Making a real mess of Gloucester's ball.
Strong charge from Fraser Balmain on debut. Purdy. And again, Exeter come up with the ball. Their work at the breakdown at the moment, very much the difference, and this time it's Yendall.
A popular decision down here in front of the shed. But it was the body position of the ball carrier, squeezing the ball underneath his chest, not allowing the first defensive player in to attack the ball.
Shanked it again.
Again, he's missed it.
He only uses it for very important occasions. Early line out from Woodburn. Steenson this time gives it a good thump. And no nonsense from Willie Hines.
Well, there's Purdy carrying. Just watch what he does with the ball as he falls. He's meant to keep it available and place it back, but he lies on top of it. And as soon as Yandall gets in, he doesn't even have to make a play to shift the ball. He can just wrap his arms around, and it looks bad to the referee. He's going to give the decision. It's called a squeeze ball. It sounds painful, but it's not.
Handled by Atkinson. Spread wide by Yendall for Armand. That surely went forwards. And Gloucester have the ball, much to their fans' relief. They've been clinging on.
Just out of shot there, we were focused on the referee, but the reaction of the forwards when they got that turnover, the pat on the back.
make sure we're 100% stationary when it's there put in to let them get it in.
Just talking about the scrums, we know we've got the new law interpretations that it's got to be straight. The purists will be screaming, well, this isn't going in straight. Having said that, it is actually much more straighter than we have seen. The important thing is the hooker's foot is up, and what the referees are looking for is the ball is thrown onto the hooker's foot rather than just being thrown into the second row. There's definite deflection there. It might not be 100% straight, but because the scrum half's offset anyway, he doesn't have to stand bang in the middle of the scrum now. It's all about making it look better.
Small steps, baby steps.
The guy went on top of the ball to try and squeeze it through his legs, and it's a bit slow. But I understand.
Plenty of tape needed for John Afoa's legs. So a pretty punishing first 20 minutes of Premiership action for Johan Ackermann to assimilate.
Do you know what, statistically, I think he'll probably review it on Monday and perhaps be a bit bogged down in terms of possession and territory. They're 7-0 down on the scoreboard. The one thing we know he desperately wants is endeavour, his work rate, his heart. And defensively, we've definitely seen that. We've seen a Gloucester team that's trying to attack, not always executing and making the right decisions, but they're going out there. And, hey, we're not talking about kids rugby where, hey, just go out, have fun and just give it a lash. This is the Aviva Premiership, and it's incredibly tiring, it's punishing, but so far from what we've seen, the opening 23 minutes, it's pretty positive.
So John Afoa still receiving a little bit of treatment. I think he's pretty much ready to go now.
Nice and patient at every stage, guys, okay?
Having been under the cosh for the opening quarter, Gloucester will look forward to a foray or two up near the Chiefs 22. Johan Ackermann very keen that his players express themselves, play without fear. But they've really had to dig in defensively in this opening spell tonight. Here's Atkinson, lovely offload, Simmons right on the shoulder. Inside the 22. Ludlow. Burns racing forwards, clawed down by Woodburn. Quick ball here could be very interesting for the home side. Simmons goes in. Armand swiftly up in defence. First real opportunity for Gloucester.
Just got no shape out in the back line. They're going to have to go route one with the forwards here till they can get people back in position.
You could pretty much throw a blanket over them, all bar Ollie Thorley on this right-hand touchline. Rowan breaks away alongside Savage. They're 5 metres short. Heinz. Burns. Where's that opening?
And slow to get into the right shape. That means Willie Heinz can't go quickly, can't threaten the Exeter defence, has to go through another phase.
Thrush, an extra metre. Atkinson wallops in the tackle. Still they charge. Rowan is there. Inch by inch, they are making it there. They are getting there. Are they over? Jeremy Thrush thinks maybe.
Any reason I can't award the try for it, Sean?
Well, they're convinced down at that end of the ground that the red cherry and white shirts got over. The ball was dotted down.
Make sure if I want to hold you back, you wait patiently.
Straight over the top, keeps the leg drive going, looks to place it. Yeah, that's a try.
Looks good.
If I'm holding you back.
Sean Davey, our television match official tonight.
Does bounce up, but the pressure's already applied. It's still in contact with his hands as it goes down. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, mate, you may award the try.
Jeremy Thrush gives hope to Johan Ackermann, gives hope to Kingsholm, and has put Gloucester on the map in this match.
Well, Gloucester have just out-chiefed the Chiefs. The pick-and-go game in and around, 5 metres out from the line. And eventually, they break the dam, get over the line. Never really had any shape after the initial break. They had to go route one. And the much maligned front five over the last few years come up with the goods.
Level on the scoreboards. Hugo.
Yeah, just having a look at the break which actually led to the try. You look at the line of Billy Burns, it actually just takes the eyes of Ian Whitton, making this a one-on-one collision. But Henry Slade, you cannot let your opposite number go through as easy as that. Lets him go through, makes easy yards, ends up being a try.
Gloucester with a foothold, arguably more than a foothold. It's the kind of score, having weathered that early storm, that will really galvanise this team now. Steenson. That was high. Bodilli. Atkinson with the tackle that time. Simmons, real explosion as he gathers the ball.
High tackle.
And the advantage being played.
Penalty only just over the shoulder. Yeah, right.
So Andy Simmons transgressing this time. So he's made touch this time, Henry Slade. 7 points apiece here at Kingsholm and up at Kingston Park. Newcastle leading Worcester by 10 points to 0. Alex Taylor scored a try. And Dean Richards' men off to an excellent start.
Hang on.
It's a decent catch, that.
Just make it clear, it's too late by the time you get here.
Look at those reactions. I've got to say, you always want to keep the ball off your chest, though, so...
Yendall for Armand. Quick ball for White. Steenson and Simmons on the rampage again.
Tackle!
Slade. 5th time inside the 22. 7 points to show for it so far for the Exeter Chiefs. This is Simmons stepping and charging over. It's 2 already for Sam Simmons. His bustling run just too much for the Gloucester defence.
He said about his power in the contact, his ability to accelerate. He just spots the defender overcommitting. Runs at his inside shoulder. Just watch the defender just overcommitting. Savage it is. He steps back. And then Willie Hines has to scamper over towards his channel. And again, he does exactly the same to the 9. Really powerful, low centre of gravity. As soon as he gets half through, there was no one going to stop him.
Well, they're very, very excited about this prospect down in Devon. 22 years old, promoted from the academy. A match-winning try, of course, against Saracens in the semi-final. A man-of-the-match performance on debut against Wasps. And 2 tries tonight already. 7 points assured by Steenson. Chiefs back in front.
We said it would be the season of the young guns, and he is a fine young man. Size of him just looks so powerful through contact. Never looked like he was going to be tackled, always pumping his legs. Gloucester will be devastated at that defence, which have been good for the majority of the game, but what a finish.
Seems to have amazing pace whilst having a very, very low centre of gravity too.
Yeah, something I never had. That's why I'm up here and he's down there.
Here's Woodburn. Ben Moon driving it onwards, one of the originals. He's been there right from the start, from the championship days. This extraordinary story of the Exeter Chiefs. Billy Burns. Richard Hibbard. Gloucester trying to build all over again, but the line speed is very good and strong from Exeter. Burns looking to exploit any holes in behind. It's fallen for him. Seen a few Burns chip and gathers over the years here on this ground, haven't we? This is Purdy. Better continuity here from the Cherry and Whites. Thrush feeding it back, but it's allowed for a competition over the ball, and Exeter look like they've snaffled it again. But this time, Matthew Carley ruling against Makavesic.
Yeah, Kovacic felt he was in the right, but he should have heard clearly Matt Carley shouting, hands off it. Felt the ruck was already formed. I'm not even sure if it was, but it doesn't matter if the ref tells you a ruck's formed. It is.
That one arm you use to push yourself up and track the ball.
Got to say,
at the same time.
discipline-wise, taking Exeter 31 minutes to give away their first penalty.
That's decent.
That's very good going. Win a few games with discipline like that.
Just track the ball on that elbow.
Just a suspicion of a groan around Kingsholm. That was 3 points that Gloucester could ill afford to squander. They need to stay in touch. Anxious faces all around, not least from the new man in charge. Opportunities have to be taken. So many narrow defeats last season. Gloucester lost 8 Premiership matches by 7 points or fewer. And they have been working very, very hard to establish why that was, and indeed to address how to change it. One of those factors was the need for a greater squad depth, and they believe they've addressed that in the off-season. A reminder that tomorrow we're off to Twickenham, the home of English rugby, for the London doubleheader. Saracens against Northampton first up from 1:30, and then swiftly followed by London Irish against Harlequins, 4:15 for that one. Both of those on BT Sport 1 HD and 4K UHD. And then on Sunday we're at Welford Road for Leicester against Bath from 2:30. Gloucester in possession. Atkinson over the gain line. Hines given the benefit of the doubt by Matthew Carley. Atkinson again. Muscular defence from Nick White. Morgan. Foa caught low and early.
It's all very narrow in and around the breakdown. They're trying to switch sides now. The little lift over the top.
Lovely from Burns. Purdy racing onto it. All hands to the pumps here for the Chiefs. Suddenly, Gloucester revving up for another foray inside the 22. Balmain, Burns, Simmons, and Woodward can't gather. So you mentioned the shape when they were pressing in the 22 a little earlier on in the match. Ugo, what is it about Gloucester at the moment that when the opportunities are there and the quick ball comes, there doesn't quite seem to be the fluidity?
Ali, it's just individual errors and individual decision-making. That was a great decision from Billy Burns. Brilliant decision to keep hold of the ball. You go through some phases, you get a little bit excited. Complete unnecessary offload. You just don't need to do that. you've seen it from Exeter for their earlier tries, just their ability to keep hold of the ball and actually stress them through phases rather than miracle balls.
I think one of the reasons is they're realising that Exeter in that sort of outside centre channel almost have a corner where they've come up hard, and they feel if they can get round the outside of that, there's loads of metres to be had. So they're almost forcing the issue, trying to get, when they get caught by that outside centre defender, they're almost just trying to force to get round because they know there's space there, but they just need a little bit more calmness and decision making. And if it doesn't happen on the first go, do it next time, do it on the second go, but only throw that pass if it's on.
I suppose that's one of the things we possibly should have expected to see tonight, that just not quite reading each other the way that they will be in a month or so's time.
Yeah, it's been a great start though. Let's not sort of discount that. It's been a fantastic start.
Last few minutes of the first half. Solidity at scrum time, but Matthew Carley has given the decision to Gloucester. And Harry Williams has been singled out. Wearing the scars of battle. And now another shot at the sticks for Billy Burns.
No one in front of the ball, and I'll keep them up.
Or not. Fortune favours the brave. Or does it?
A big shout, big shout. A lot of pressure on Hibbard now. They have to come up with the goods.
Big decision made by the Cherry and Whites. It has to pay off now with half-time bearing down upon us. Hibbard finds Ludlow. Opportunities here now. Hibbard is set. The advantage is with Gloucester. Hibbard breaks free.
They've got a freebie. They want to use it. They don't want to waste their advantage. Here it is.
Burns high and wide, and Purdy's underneath it, and it falls for Slade. And back we go.
Brilliant decision-making from Burns. He didn't want to waste another couple of phases, potentially lose the advantage.
Across the line and then entry.
Shot to nothing. Puts the ball up 50-50 in the air.
So do you go again?
I think it was a strange decision, not taking the points. Hey, if they're on a plate, you take them. But now he's kind of kicked himself into a corner, and he needs his force to deliver.
Quite literally into the corner. Take two.
It was Hill who gave away the penalty. Just as he went up for the ball, he was in the wrong position, fell across the line, almost acted as a blocker.
Hibbard this time to Jeremy Thrush.
Ball's there in prime position now. They need to sink the hips, find the weakness in that white wall. Thrush doing all he can to hold that tight in together. Hines just worried about it going into touch.
Hines breaks, Atkinson gathers. Thrush on the gain line. Hibbard now. An extra metre gained. Whipped as wide as he possibly could that time by Hines. Balmain. Savage alongside him. Yendall in there looking to make a menace of himself. Afoa. Gloucester badly needing points from this excursion. They're very close.
He's dived through the middle. It's Thrush again.
Well, he's whipped the ball away like it's not even a discussion. But Sean Davey will be employed once more. Has the Kiwi done it twice in the half?
There was a massive cheer just from that section of fans directly behind where he goes through. They're convinced it's a try. Let's have a look. Everyone expecting it to come round the corner. He's on the floor. Is it a second movement?
I think they've got to go back, because if that's the ball at the back of the ruck, Or is that the same ruck?
There, he's gone to ground. I don't think he can then. There's white hands on him.
Can't
Yeah,
do
we're just
that.
trying to get the footage of the initial tackle. Just stand by.
So it's Ludlow
That's
with the
not him.
first surge.
But then he picks up here, but he goes to ground with white hands on him. Are they in an offside position? But that doesn't matter.
He's
But
clearly
he hasn't
gone to
placed
ground
it,
first, hasn't he?
placed it immediately.
Got one more angle.
Yeah, this could be good. Thank you, Sean.
Tackle.
This one should decide it for us. Oh, no.
Where are their hands, though? Are they in an offside position?
See, he's lost momentum.
Okay, Matt, there are all the angles.
Sean, is he the furthest back player in the ruck?
We're just going to cross-check that. It's a big call. Let's just check that for you.
But the other
Stand by.
thing, even if he does go to ground, is it a penalty try? Because those players are offside that have put him to ground when he would have just gone over. God, it's a confusing one. Is he the hindmost player in the ruck? Yes, the other Rowan's on the floor.
Well, he's not actually.
Well, they're not bound onto him. Now they're bound onto him, but has he already gone?
Okay,
Either
Matt.
way.
Yeah, Sean.
He actually picked up and drove the line and got tackled.
Yeah. And then he places the ball directly on the line.
After that, yes.
Try.
Try for me.
Yeah.
Well, there's the decision. Sean Davey and Matthew Colley are happy and confident that the try was scored, and Jeremy Thrush, for the second time in 40 minutes, has dragged Gloucester back into contention.
I guess it depends on what your definition is of immediate placement of the ball. The Exeter fans won't agree with it. The Gloucester fans, absolutely 100% was a try.
Well, I tell you what, you need a little bit of fortune, don't you?
Restart regardless.
And Gloucester have not had the rub of the green in recent seasons. Maybe tonight is their night. Exeter will feel aggrieved. Gloucester will be delighted to look up at the scoreboard and see parity. One last play before the Oranges. Steenson probing. Slade. That's a little knock-on from Thorley. And it rolls into touch, and that is half-time. Well, we've missed it, haven't we? 2 tries apiece. Gloucester on the rack for the first half hour. But somehow, level on the scoreboard. 14 points apiece. That's resilience for you. That's what Johan Ackermann was calling for. Gloucester level with the champions at the break. All the analysis to come shortly. Clear, concise messages from Johan Ackermann, no doubt, at the break. Chatting to him in the week, it is very apparent he's trying to keep a simple message at this stage. He'll be thrilled with the fight, the character, the resolve that his charges have been displaying this evening. And I guess this first 40 minutes, a great illustration as to why the Aviva Premiership is so tough. Nothing is a given. Champions have had their work cut out, despite having the bulk of possession and territory. Level on the scoreboard. Here's Jason Woodward. Sent that very high, and the chase is on, and underneath him is Steenson, who possibly didn't do enough to get out of the way. The advantage is with Gloucester regardless. Burns, Rowan. We'll take a look at it in a minute, but just wonder whether he was actually challenging for the ball. Hines, Burns, Atkinson goes wide. Oh, there's space here. Woodward cuts back against the grain. Simmons carries it onwards. All 6'5" of him. He's a very big man at outside centre. Good continuity here from the Cherry and Whites. Rowan in a little bit of space, draws Bodilli. Thorley cuts in field.
No, 7 loads off his feet there, but we're coming back.
Been a bit of trouble here, Gareth Steenson.
Check the challenge in the air.
I think they want to check where he's landed.
No fair competition, Sean.
His eyes are solely on the ball. We know that's not enough. He doesn't realise where the chasing player's coming from. Look, eyes on the ball. Then he realises, tries to pull out of it. It's too late. He lands on his back. I think that's a yellow card. It shouldn't be, because there's no danger, but if it's what, you've got to apply a consistent ruling.
I think you're absolutely right, Ben. It's not good enough these days to actually get there and then pull out last minute. You've got to be better at judging it, and he's got there too late and realised, and by that point Woodward's committed. You're always safer as the attacking player to get into the air for that very reason.
If he takes off, it's not a yellow card, is it? They'll have a collision. Simmons will still land on his back, but it wouldn't be a yellow.
Exeter 10 comes into the space.
He comes into the space.
And he does not realistically compete for the ball, and the man goes over the top of him. Although he then falls on top of him, he falls dangerously for me. So I'm looking at a yellow card.
Correct.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Gareth Steenson will head to the bin. The man who delivered the trophy at the end of May is off to the cooler.
But this is such a good coaching tip for all players who are attacking balls. You just heard Matthew Carley there talking about dominating the space. You watch Woodward here, and I always coach this, you've got to own that space in the air, and that's exactly what Woodward does, and that puts him in such a positive position to be able to earn that ball, and that essentially is the difference between a yellow and a good competition.
Well, what an opportunity now for Gloucester. 10 minutes with an extra man, and significantly for the Chiefs, the playmaker off the field.
Well, what we saw in the last 20 minutes of the first half is Gloucester just grow, Exeter dominating with the ball, and now they've got a huge opportunity.
Hibbard finding the man who has scored twice this evening, the former All Black, Jeremy Thrush, right in the thick of it.
Good position for Hibbard now. He's free. He can break off if he needs to. Armand doing his best there to spoil it.
Noise levels building, but the ball stolen and thumped away by Nick White. And all that good work undone. Woodward hasn't got hold of that at all. White, trouble here for Gloucester. Exeter on the counter-attack through Dolman. White couldn't gather it, and now it's Gloucester's chance. Driven through, Burns herring after it. So too Thorley. Simmons is back. Brave work from Sam Simmons, but an excellent chase from Gloucester.
A very good chase from Gloucester, a mistake at their line out. A brilliant turnover by them, but this is the turnover there. An absolute brilliant kick from Willie Hines, but I've just got to tip my hat to the work rate of Sam Simmons. At 8, we've seen him in attack, but look at the pace on the man to get back, get to his feet. and end up rescuing what looked like a pretty awful position for Exeter.
That turnover from Dolman was one of those 50-50s where, had that gone to hand, Exeter had a real opportunity to go down and be in the same position Gloucester find themselves now. It didn't. Great kick from Willie Hines. Outside of the boot, rolls it out towards his man, and Simmons does so well.
Line-out time again. It is Thrush claiming it for the Cherry and Whites. Have to make the most of these opportunities, and they've got a really decent nudge on here. Whipped away. Simmons. Woodward. Purdy. Good cover in the end.
Oh, that's nearly brilliant from Purdy. Burns does really well to get that extra width. Allows the drift though, but Purdy just drops on top of Dolman's shoulder. Injures the fullback in the process. And it's just excellent inside cover from Woodburn that saves the day.
Richard, step up.
Pressure now on the Yendall throw. Chiefs being asked some genuine questions. And White has given that some, but there's a degree of slice about it.
The Gloucester, the last two line-outs, put together a pretty decent driving position, but then just at the last second, there's been a little bit of overexcitement. Someone's gone too far through. The ball's followed it, and it's got snarled up. But they're actually getting set into a really nice position and then getting forward momentum. Morgan and its scrum half are ready to go in on the ball.
Long they go. To Thrush they go. Morgan, inside ball for Hibbard, who can't hold on to it. And again, the opportunity is lost.
I think there was just a bit of, it was a pre-planned move that they had. Willie Hines running down the blind side. Looked like it was going to be driven, and then Morgan pops out for the inside ball, but it's that Ludlow that just gets in the way. Well, Rowan. It's Rowan, I think, who just stood up at the wrong time as Hibbard was running that inside ball off Morgan.
Nice and patient, like we had the setup in the first half.
Well, it's bubbling nicely, this one. And they do tend to have thrillers, these two. 9 of the last 12 in all competitions between Gloucester and Exeter have been decided by 5 points or fewer. Tend to be high scoring as well, certainly in recent memory that's been the case.
Behind the ball, 9.
Chiefs having to work very, very hard here, deep inside their 22. Simmons breaks.
Stumbled then as he picked up Simmons, didn't he? Did really well. He rolled in the contact just to buy his support an extra bit of time. We saw a penalty for the squeeze ball earlier in the game. Can't do that anymore, so he just rolls and allows his support players to get there extra or clear their lines.
White, half charge down.
Just looking at Gloucester's inaccuracy, but also missed opportunity. With Gareth Steenson being in the bench, Nick White is now having to cover so much of the backfield. And as you see here, the huge amount of space at the back. Henry Purdy wants the ball there, but instead they chain pass. Henry Purdy runs out of space, they go into touch. So he's actually just thinking about where the space is. You can see Johan Ackerman not impressed.
In 5, that's a taken in.
Sort of chance they've got to bury against the best team in the league. Purdy again, assuming rather greater responsibility these days, with Johnny May away, of course, to Leicester, and Sharple's out of the picture at the moment. Simmons. Kvesic, little pop for Armand.
Release! Stay there, thank you, John.
Slade bringing Witten back on the switch. Chiefs happy to play with the ball while they remain a man down. Still 3 minutes on that yellow card.
Without their playmaker to call the shots. I think Henry Slade now operating in that 10 position, allowing the forwards to go through a lot of the work.
You're absolutely right, and this is the reason why Nick White's been brought in, to be able to organise. Perhaps not, they didn't plan for this yellow card decision, but the responsibility certainly leans on his shoulders.
Kvesic doing well to get that away to Armand. Throttling defence at the moment from Gloucester. Thrush again with the tackle. Armand and Morgan involved in a real tussle. It's been ripped away by Savage. Arfoa has it. Thrush once more, who is at the heart of absolutely everything tonight. Still he moves forward, up to the 10-metre line. Burns, Atkinson. Atkins got a hand on it. It's harem-scarum at the moment. Purdy taking on Dolman. Exhausting passage of play, this one. John Arfoa. Atkinson goes wide and Thorley's onto it. Thorley latching on beautifully. Oh, just couldn't quite stay on his feet, and Bodilly did well in the end. Still with opportunities. Morgan on the burst. Burns dribbles it through. Purdy's after this one. And once more, just inside the 22, the ball goes begging.
A massive shame, but finally Gloucester have worked out where the space is, and it's in behind. Mark Atkinson, take a bow, sees it, brave with that, manages to find Ollie Thorley. What a cover tackle this is by Max Bodilly, just about gets to him.
Oh, and then Burns' kick under real pressure outside of the right boot, just threads it through the gap that Atkins has popped out of.
Got just enough on the Thorley leg. So a breather for all the players out there. A lung-busting passage of play, and chance for us to remind you that Rugby Tonight is back with you 8 o'clock on Wednesdays.
It's back. The wait is over. Great guest, top analysis, great banter.
Oh, it's like Hollywood, isn't it?
Ben Foden, the guest this week.
He did tackle it. He released the ball, stood up and picked it back up again.
Savage with contact lens trouble, and a thoughtful, pensive Gareth Steenson. So much the driving force in their campaign. Their campaigns, really. 10th season with Exeter. So tomorrow, it's Twickenham for all of us. Saracen Saints tomorrow, 1:30. Followed swiftly by London Irish against Quins. The Exiles return to the top flight, and we'll get a first sight of Marcus Smith, this exciting young teenager who's starting at number 10 for Quins tomorrow on the biggest stage of all, and Leicester against Bath on Sunday from 2:30. Manu Tuolangi, Matt Tamua amongst those in action. Jonathan Joseph, Anthony Watson, all the stars of the internationals, and indeed some Lions on display. BT Sport 1 and 4K UHD.
It's a good scrum from Gloucester. Exeter trying to force the penalty with the drive.
Simmons for Witten. And the pair of them, really an exercise and a brilliant illustration of power over the game line. Power onto the ball. Nick White. Jeremy Thrush underneath it. Needless to say, he's everywhere.
Use it.
So the yellow card will draw to a close imminently. Steenson will return in the next break. Atkinson, Woodward, Simmons. overlap here if they can work it. Purdy cuts back infield and has left Nick White on his heels. There is Thrush, the support man. Purdy needs one more to Hines. And Armand has effected the turnover. Exeter just working all the time, under pressure, and finding the energy. Another very promising passage from Gloucester, ending ultimately in a fruitless search for points. And that's now gone forwards from Atkinson. Surely.
I think that might have been a call from the TMO because none of the officials up with play couldn't see it. But Armand saving the day to allow Steenson back on, full complement. Again, they find that space on the outside. Thrush in support. Really good play from him. Just does enough to hold Woodburn. And just if that ball can go back on the inside to Hines, they could well have been challenging for the line. But Armand straight in over the ball as he did all last year. Huge turnover.
Right on the limit, then 5 seconds.
Just brilliant in that Premiership final, and equipped himself very nicely as a replacement in the first test against Argentina in June as well. Don Armand looking to keep himself uppermost in the mind of Eddie Jones as we see the first replacement of the evening. Thomas Francis, Welsh international, onto the field at tight head for Harry Williams for the Chiefs.
In the second row, I can't.
He can reach it.
Well, it's in the second row, you can. Those are the laws now. Woodburn, White, real energy and urgency here from the Chiefs, and then it's gone forwards from Dolman.
Went forward and then back off
The
the
Shed finding their voice again, this time in relief.
Well, Exeter's attack may not be slick, but Don Armour, just watch his work right here in defence. You often wonder what all the ingredients will make champion sides, and if you've got someone like Dom Harmon who has the attitude, the desire just to work harder than everyone else, then it gives you a chance of winning games. He has sprinted back 70 metres. You can imagine at 54 minutes into the game, lungs will be absolutely busting, but great attitude just to get back there.
Jack Noel is on the field. He's replaced Max Bodilli. He's had a decent outing. Bodilli will see a lot more of him this season, no doubt. His first Premiership start tonight. But Noel, one of those campaigners that you need in tight tussles such as these. Trying 3 of his last 4 Premiership outings, and of course an appearance off the bench in both the second and third Test matches for the Lions against New Zealand. Hines, Atkinson, Burns in behind. Woodward, snared by Slade. Thrush buffeted. Morgan. Ludlow. Burns, Atkinson, they go wide. Bustling run from Rowan. Afoa with the soft hands for Savage. Hines again to the short side. Atkinson. Half through. Needs something to show for this. Hines to the short side. Fawley working his way through Woodburn, rolling and getting up and going again. Balmain, Hines, Thrush again, and Atkinson drops the ball. And they're over the try line. Now surely that was forwards.
Matthew Carney said play on at that moment, so this will get checked.
Went on to an extra player, but regathered. We'll just check if there's a knock.
It's come off the knee.
Sean?
He's right.
Yeah.
I'd like to check whether I think it's off the knee, but whether there's a hand involved. And
Okay,
then
we'll
just
check the
double there's
contact, yeah.
no offsides after that.
Okay.
It does, comes off the knee. Then an Exeter hand. Here's it thrown out, Atkinson's knee. Ooh. Then on to France. Was it Francis who gets it next?
Did it ricochet onto Thrush's shoulder
first? Or is it Francis? From the other angle, it looks like Francis. That's the knee.
And the hands seem to be far enough away from the ball, don't they? We need to see it from the other angle, really.
It's Thrush's forearm, isn't it?
Atkinson was then held by White, but Morgan followed up.
Pretty sure it's really first up.
Right. Is it his forearm, or does it go straight past him onto Francis?
Oh, how do you rule
Benefit
on
of the doubt?
that?
I don't know.
Benefit of the doubt, rub of the green.
We've got one more angle. Here we go. Here we go.
Need a snickometer.
Oh. It looks like knee.
It's definite knee.
That's knee, but
directly in, and I think they're just about level. And then hits White through.
Is there one finger?
can't see from that angle really whether it hits the arm.
You
or
can
not.
hear him chanting, knee, knee, knee in the shed.
No, you don't think so. Sean?
Yeah, okay. That's all we have, Matt.
Okay, for me,
Okay.
not clearly and obviously off the hand. I think it's
Yeah,
off
the
his
knee for me.
Okay, and then no clear offence after that.
Correct.
It just might be Gloucester's night. On such decisions, key matches turn. Ben Morgan awarded the try, and Gloucester in front for the first time in the match. Two more from Billy Burns, 21 points to 14, and if there was fortune over Jeremy Thrush's second score, there is arguably even more about this one.
When you see it not in slow motion, it all happens so quickly. You heard the referee saying there was no clear offence after that. He's absolutely right. No arguments, I don't think, on that from us up here. We might not have disagreed with Thrush's second try. We might not have agreed with them on that, but certainly there, I think they got it 100% right.
Well, there is a real crackle of expectation, excitement, and frankly, a little bit of disbelief at the way Lady Luck just might be smiling upon Gloucester this evening. They have been hard done by on many, many occasions, the Cherry and Whites. They've contributed to their own downfall on many, many occasions similarly, but tonight they're getting the decisions. Will it be enough, or will Exeter come rampaging back as Whitten is trying to do? Gressick for Woodburn. Armand slipping through one. Hibbard is the man to floor him. Nick White, well, the crowd didn't like it. Matthew Carley happy for play to continue. Quickly from Kvesic, nice handling. Woodburn, Whitten, Yendel.
Jack Noel off his wing, just hovering in the backfield, waiting for an opportunity.
Blue scrum cap left of your screen. Thirteenth phase of possession for the champions. There's Noel. Atkins backwards, stolen though by Gloucester, and it's the first intervention of Ed Slater, newly onto the field. Crossfield kick from Atkinson, aimed for Purdy, just too long.
What a brilliant defensive set that for Gloucester. Exeter really lifted the intensity. Here's the mistake. Ed Slater pounces straight onto, wins the ball back. That's how you introduce, and that's how you make friends at your brand new club. But a really, really good defensive set and reaction to Exeter up in the tempo.
Former Tigers skipper brought in to provide ballast, aggression and savvy to the engine room. John Afoa making way alongside Richard Hibbard and Fraser Balmain, so a completely new front row in the form of Honek, Matu'u and Denman now for the Cherry and Whites. That's gone loose. Francis in to rescue it. Noel, half through the hole.
Not held, play on, not held, not tackled.
Gloucester on red alert at this point. The Chiefs are revving things up, slipping through the gears, trailing by 7 points. Jack Maunder on at 9 now. So too Carl Rimmer, newly appeared from the bench. Steenson wrapped up. Again, it's Slater who's right on top of everything, eager to make his impression. Gloucester over again, turn the ball over. Slater will be credited with that one too.
Use it. Winning. Use it.
Hines shaped as if to kick that himself, instead feeds to Burns and Noel is gathering. Slips through the tackle of Rowan. Maunder, Johnny Hill. Steenson, pace injected by Slade. Maunder caught, but Gloucester straying offside, so the advantage here with the Chiefs. Maunder, Steenson over the top, gathered in quite brilliantly by Slade. Woodburn slithering onwards. They're within 15 metres. Steenson, Yendel, straightens. Speed of ball here could prove lethal. Lovely smuggle from Armand to Noel, Jack Noel. What sleight of hand there from Don Armand. Here he is again. The advantage finished. Gloucester having to dig very, very deep at this point. An exhausting passage. Slater with the tackle, it's been knocked forwards. Exeter's turn to fluff their lines.
Just a vital time for that to happen for Gloucester as well, as Atkinson under the post was really struggling with an injury. I think he might be being replaced now, but he was stood in the prime defensive position with a lethal back line against him. But that man has had a massive impact since he came on. Big turnovers. Again, it's Slater. Does that count as 3 turnovers in about 6 minutes?
It depends who you ask. If you ask him, yeah. Big, broad smiles, but as you rightly say, Ben, that is the way to make friends at your new club. Total commitment. Now this is Ruan Ackerman. He's the boss's son, and there are changes being made. Mark Atkinson is off the field, which means that we've got Billy Tweltrees on. Matt Kovesic is off, presumably replaced by Julian Salvi. And Ackerman is going to have to wait his turn. He'll be coming on in the back row for Gloucester. Plays all across the back row. There's Tweltrees.
Big scrum this. We'll see how the new strike laws get on and the new, or making sure that the ball goes in straight. It'd be very tempted for Willie Hines now to help this on its way back to the number 8's feet.
Change at hooker for the Chiefs as well, so they've got a new front row from the starting lineup as well. Rimmer, Tayoni and Francis now operating there.
Off his arm.
Well, the Chiefs had a sticky start to last season. They only won 2 of their first 7 in the Premiership, 2 of their first 10 in all, and of course recovered quite brilliantly to go on and claim the trophy. But they will feel this is well within their compass just at the moment. Morgan, though, has other ideas for Gloucester.
I won't be there.
Heinz finding the sanctity of the touchline, which is just what Kingsholm were after. So Ben Morgan making way for Ruan Ackerman. South African joining from the Lions alongside his old man. This is Simmons. Maunda, Hill, Ludlow tackling as if his life depended upon it. Steenson changing the angle, and Matu'u coming flying in at him.
Steenson stayed down. I think it's one of those where the tackler gets his head on the wrong side just as Steenson's trying to dip in and not open himself up to a big hit. He just dips down and look, head the wrong side.
There was a head-on-head collision as well, wasn't there? Yes.
Okay, Sean, that's a legal tackle for me. Collision effect, yes.
That's a good evening from the Pacific Islands.
Sean?
Might need a head injury assessment, potentially, Gareth Steenson. And I think that is what's going to happen at this point. So the second time that he's had to leave the field, this time courtesy of Motu Matu'u. So Lockie Turner is on in his place for the time being. And of course the head injury assessment this season is going to be 10 minutes, a flat 10 minutes. Cannot return before that period, even if it is passed.
Also got the trial of the saliva test, haven't we, which will not affect the decision as to whether he comes on or not. They're just looking at it. The understanding is that the RFU and Premiership Rugby and the RPA have been working with a scientist who's developed a saliva test that instantly your saliva changes its chemical makeup after trauma, and they can analyse if that's head trauma and concussion. And that's hopeful that they'll be able to do a test on the side of the pitch moving forward.
And that's all being trialled this season, isn't it? So maybe some radical changes on the way for the better, we hope. Burns to Matu'u. Burns, 12 trees, little delay on the pass, that was clever, and Purdy is on the ball now. Gloucester making steady progress, but the intervention of Salvi stops them in their tracks. 12 trees. Josh Honeck. This is the sort of period of play where presumably Gloucester should have got rid of it. At this point of the match, 65 minutes in, leading by 7 points, in possession, but struggling to make headway. Hugo, wasn't that the moment to put boot to ball?
100%, and I don't want to be one of these guys because we're sat up here. I'm not involved in the game, but it seemed fairly obvious. Exeter for 3-4 phases, line speed was great, and all they've done now is invite pressure onto themselves when they should have been in Exeter's half.
3 points turned down. This is the the penalty that was given up by the Cherry and Whites. And in the end, a relatively straightforward turnover for Elvis Tyone. And they've gone to the corner. Traditionally, very, very hard to stop from this position, Exeter. Tyone for Hill, it's not clean. Simmons. Stopped well by Purdy. And they've managed to drive them back 7 or 8 metres, Gloucester.
Tackle, release him!
Maunder for Hill. Good tackle from Billy Burns, great pressure from Gloucester. Burns again, lets fly. Again, Fawley on the chase. The bouncer testing one for Turner and Woodburn. Woodward did well. Clawed him to the ground, and now the Shed lending their voice as well. Maunder, great chase from Woodburn. Burns has lost it. Taken in by the Chiefs.
Advantage over for the knock-on.
Slade. Noel. Half through the team tackle. Threatening again just outside the 22. Simmons. Tyone. Whitten. Woodburn. Tyone. Taken by Savage. There'll be some weary Gloucester defenders after this passage of play. Make no mistake about it. Ludlow already up in the 20s on the tackle count. This is Whitten. Slipping through one. Ludlow again. Armand using that leg drive. Slade, Dolman, Noel, Turner, Simmons. Tyone. Exeter sniffing the try line. Great competition over the ball from Slater, but still the Chiefs have it. Noel is in there, right in the thick of things. Kingsholm in full cry, urging their men on. And Matthew Carley has provided them with great relief.
Now, so many teams last year couldn't live with the pick-and-go game of the Chiefs. But time after time tonight, Gloucester have come up with that all-important big tackle or dislodge of the ball. Exeter's so good at not necessarily accelerating all the time into the contact, but riding the tackle, getting that leg drive through the contact, tying in extra numbers. And usually when they get to 5 metres out, they are lethal. Yeah, Simmons doing well with the footwork. Again, the leg drive. But look at this from the Cherry and Whites. The initial big hit. The little bit of competition on the floor, and the referee sees the knock-on.
Look at the face of Motu Matu'u, amongst others. But there is still a further 10 minutes to go, and very few teams, Hugo, were able to live with the Chiefs in that final 20 last season, particularly the second half of the season. They were lethal.
Yeah,
their pace.
Absolutely right. Often when they get into the 22, they come away with points, but whenever you're that close to the try line, I always think it's a game of patience against discipline. And Gloucester was so well disciplined in their defensive drills there. Happy for Exeter to have the ball so long as they're getting off the line, putting physical pressure on them. And at the moment, Exeter, who are the champions, look to be the ones lacking a bit of composure.
A quick hook, Ruan Ackerman on the burst, and a great burst it was too. Hines, that has not gone to plan. Thorley wrestling with it. Woodburn stealing it! Woodburn! A poacher's try if ever there was one. Gloucester stung. Hines' kick punished.
A miracle catch from Woodburn. He gets it in originally, but it looks like Thorley's ripped it off him, but just leaves his fingertips on the ball. Huge strength. It's an enormous impact from Ackerman off the base. But Willie Hines just caught in possession. Look at this carry. The acceleration, drops the shoulder, has put his scrum half on the front foot. There's the kick, but just look at this from Woodburn. Holds on, looks like Thorley's got it. Just uses his body weight to roll out and comes up with the goods.
Just talking about composure, and then it's your captain. A kick like that in a position like that, at a time like that. No one saw that coming. But how about that for a poacher's try? The strength in his fingertips, the ability and finishing prowess of Woodburn inexplicably gets Exeter back into this game.
Well, it was a brilliant effort from Woodburn, who had a stunning season in the last campaign. And this is Slade to try to draw the Chiefs level. His tackle, by the way, that applied the pressure to Hines. And it is a fine conversion from Henry Slade. 70 minutes in our Aviva Premiership opener. 3 tries apiece, 21 points apiece.
Do you know what? This game has really opened up. Sometimes poor on quality, high on energy, but what it makes for is a quite brilliant game. These last 10 minutes can have a huge impact on just the motion and feeling of what a great start to the season. Unbelievable.
All the drama you could possibly hope for. A year ago, we had the stunning comeback of the Leicester Tigers here from 31 points to 7 down. Sam Harrison with a late try to steal the match for Leicester. And now it is anyone's. Passes like that are not going to help Gloucester's cause. Rowan does the tidying work, but Noel is on top of it. Hines driven off the ball. Exeter on turbo drive and winning the decision.
Oh, just a lack of composure. Ted Slater, isn't it? Just creeping a few yards, desperate to effect another turnover, sack the player as he picks the ball up from the base.
And Hines is making way. The last few minutes won't be something he's terribly proud of, but up until that point he had steered this Gloucester side very tidily indeed. This is Witten on the burst. Gloucester needing every last ounce of energy that they've got to hold out here.
Go and place it onto him.
Simmons, Woodburn. Maunder, Witten. Bit of shadow boxing with 12 trees, and into touch it goes. Gloucester ball. Raucous cheers from the shed. The Falcons with a very healthy lead over Worcester on opening night. 28 points to 8, 3 tries. Alex Tate, Rob Vickers and Kyle Cooper. Flying start for Dean Richards' men, seemingly. Who's going to hold their nerve here? Slater gathering it in at the line-out. The kind of man that Gloucester need in a situation like this. Trying to close out the narrow ones. The ones they've had such trouble nailing down in the last couple of seasons. Ben Velicott on at number 9 for Gloucester now. And Woodburn taken, yes, in the air, but Fawley got a good challenge in.
Really good challenge. Massive difference between that and the Steenson one. Both guys got up into the air. Genuine competition.
Salvi for Hill. Armand muscling his way onwards. Every team, of course, working so hard in the off-season to get the conditioning right where it needs to be for these last few moments, these most testing, tiring moments. Maunda, taken by Velicott, running out of options and running into Salvi. Gloucester chancing their arm a little bit as we see that string of 17 league wins in a row under pressure here from the Cherry and Whites. Exeter looking for the outright record, but plenty still to do. Dangerous policy here from Gloucester inside the 22. Ryan Ackerman on the ball.
Well, it's a fine line between bravery and stupidity. Ali, genuine, I just don't know what I'm quite seeing. The Gloucester of last year, they struggled to win those tight games in their 22, going side to side, running backwards, just offering the game to Exeter.
Well, that knock-on from Velicott might prove very costly.
Velicott, put your foot on the ball, get it out of your half.
He was a little bit confused by what happened in front of him, though. He's the 9. He wasn't expecting someone to pick and go in front of him.
But it shouldn't have been an option. You come on to boss the game, get the game out. You're not going to be scoring super tries from 80 yards. Get into their half. A penalty could be enough at this point to win the game. Just get rid of the ball.
And everybody knows what Tony Rose, Exeter, can do in the dying moments. Saracens and the semi-final at Sandy Park is testament to that. Jan Ackerman will know it all too well. So many good things to applaud about the Gloucester policy tonight, the way they've taken this challenge head on, but are they about to squander it at the death?
So running a tight V off Henry Slade at 10, and then there's a bit of a gap. Jack Knoll hovering in that outside centre position. Outside him, Lockie Turner.
Penalty to the Chiefs. A scrum penalty, and Josh Honeck is the sinner.
17 on the outside and around.
This will be all too familiar to Gloucester supporters.
Kick it goal.
The late decision, which might prove fatal for this evening.
You don't lose a game based on one decision or one moment, but often those small moments where you do get it wrong puts you in positions where Gloucester have been just far too familiar. We don't know if Henry Slade's going to kick this kick, but if they do and they lose the match, Gloucester will be scratching their heads once again. You've got to say, beneath all of that, what we've seen from Gloucester, such a huge improvement in so many facets. But Exeter's, there's their will, their desire, that champion spirit, which has often become cliche, has put them in the position as they are right now.
So it falls to Henry Slade to deliver what might be the final telling blow. He's pulled it. He's pulled it. There is hope for Gloucester. Steenson off the field. Slade's kicking not half as reliable. Johan Ackermann still believes. 2 minutes left to play. Game's still alive. Dolman. How much belief do the Chiefs have? Fumble forwards from Lockie Turner. Here's 12 Trees on the counter-attack, straightening nicely. Good pace injected by Billy 12 Trees. That's loose from Velicott. And so nearly the intercept. So nearly the intercept for Sam Skinner. They are playing fast and loose, and it might be kamikaze rugby.
Do you know what? It's absolutely brilliant to watch up here. But you've just had a huge let-off. And within 60 seconds, also an intercept. I think this game's going to end up being a draw. But equally, I think both coaches will be happy to take that draw. Get on the bus, let's get home. Let's get to review meeting room on Monday.
I think the batteries might have run out on Johan Ackermann's radio. The way he was he's almost screaming through the window.
Into the final minute of yet another enthralling, absorbing Aviva Premiership match. What a way to launch the season. Will there be a final twist? Velicott feeds Matt Scott. 12 Trees over the top for Purdy. Turner hunting him down. Purdy's still on his feet. Does well to keep the ball in play. Slater. Calm under pressure. Is it possible in this kind of cauldron for this team? Johan Ackermann. Savage still going strong on the occasion of his 150th appearance for the Cherry and Whites. Edging towards drop goal territory, you would suggest. Into the middle of the field. 12 Trees. Possession all important. 12 Trees. Scott bursting through. Up to the 22-metre line. Another blast from Simmons. Velicott. 12 Trees. Slater. A couple more phases infield and then Billy might be in with a shot from the drop goal, but Velicott is probing.
Don't even look like they're considering the drop goal. Billy 12 Trees just getting his forwards to go through the phases.
Here is 12 Trees feeding Jason Woodward. Oh my goodness me! The new boy, fresh from Bristol, over the try line in the 82nd minute, and Kingsholm has gone completely and utterly bonkers.
Unbelievable. I think I saw 6 bodies fly out the roof of the shed when that ball got dotted down. The place has gone absolutely mental.
This is a ridiculous game. Just 60 seconds ago, they almost coughed it up. Gave Henry Slade an opportunity, then a near intercept. Nostradamus couldn't have called this one. He couldn't have seen it coming. What brilliant bit of attacking play. Jason Woodward, footwork ability, 81 minutes. Gloucester end up stealing this game with a bonus point against the champions.
Absolutely.
What a great start to the season.
Extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. And that's what it means to Johan Ackermann and David Humphreys determined to turn this ship around, determined to bring glory back to Gloucester. 12 trees to add the gloss. It will matter not. The celebrations will begin instantaneously. There will be 2 more points. There will be 5 points for Gloucester. Johan Ackermann is up and running. A brand new era at Kingsholm is launched. And they will pray in these parts that it really is the turning point, that it isn't just another false dawn. They've taken down the champions on opening night under a new head coach, and now they have to back it up. Exeter beaten for the first time in goodness knows how long. October the 30th last year in the league against Bath. The last time the champions were beaten. Full time at Kingsholm, Gloucester 28, Exeter 21.